Prepare to get gas because it's time for the Week in Gear. I'm Andy and welcome to the show that brings you the most exciting guitar gear released in the last 7 days. This week, Harley Benton drops a massive challenge into the entry-level amp wars, Gretsch gives its cute acoustic a classy vintage makeover, and Ed Sheeran and PRS drop an unexpected baritone that is guaranteed to cause a stir. Now, before we get into it, a quick update on the Week in Gear. Due to exchange rates and tariffs and other things that I can't explain, the prices that I've been displaying on screen, sort of over there in recent episodes, have become a little bit unreliable and sometimes instantly outdated due to things way beyond my control, which makes the pricing info useless to you. So, I'm switching things up, and instead of exact prices, I'm going to give you a price range from now on. And I'll also be adding this QR code to every episode. Well, it won't be the same one, that's the one for this episode. So if you want purchase links and more info, all you have to do is scan the on-screen QR code with your phone, and if you miss it the first time, don't panic, it will appear several times every show, and the pause button is your friend. I'll still be putting links in the video description and the first comment if you prefer that, so you don't actually need to change anything if that's the way you do things. But thank you for the feedback that you've given me in the comments section recently. Please continue to leave that feedback. It helps us get a more fun and hopefully better show. Now, let's talk about gear and kick off this week's gear list with an entry-level amp that costs less than most pedals. If you're just starting out with guitar, welcome to it, I hope you enjoy it. Or if you want a small grab-and-go rig that you can leave in the living room and possibly not worried about if it gets stolen or not, Harley Benton have just dropped a massive challenge to the budget amp market. This is the Harley Benton DNA Effects Amp 10. This is the smaller sibling to the 20-watt Amp 20, and this Amp 10 is a modeling amp that weighs just 4.5 kilos, which is about the same weight as my massive cat. It features a 6-inch custom full-range speaker, which is driven by a 10-watt Class D power section. You get 4 core amplifier models. That's clean, blues with a bit of crunchy gain, rock, more gain, and then lead, even more gain. It also has 4 effects: spring reverb, hall reverb, delay, and delay/reverb. And importantly, there is a tap tempo on the amp to keep things in time. It is noticeably missing the modulation effects from the Amp 20, but it still has a built-in tuner and Bluetooth 5.0 so that you can stream backing tracks straight from your phone to the amp to jam along with. There's also a 3.5mm line-in socket for a cable, and yes, if you do want to practice silently, it still has a dedicated headphone output. There's no USB or app or anything like that to download. You get what you get, and you don't get upset. Now, I think the biggest selling point here is the price. The price for me is less than 80 notes. And if you'd like to know the exact price in your region, there is that brand new spanking spankly QR code, and a clickable link is also in the video description. Have you scanned it yet? You probably could have paused this, that would have been more efficient, right? Now, I don't think this will be the best sounding amp in the world, so keep your expectations pretty low. But it is cheap enough not to worry too much, and it should be better than playing without an amp. And the fact that it doubles as a Bluetooth speaker and has some effects in it means that the Harley Benton DNA FX Amp 10 pushes the gasometer up to buy it now. Dropping the high-tech DSP and stepping into absolute bare-bones acoustic simplicity, we have a fresh new look for one of the most beloved affordable guitars on the market. This is the Gretsch Jim Dandy Parlor LTD in a brand new vintage white finish. If you want pristine, lush, piano-like, bell-like acoustic tones, this is absolutely not the guitar for you. But if you just want to sit on the couch or outside and hammer out some gritty old school blues, then this thing is a masterpiece. In fact, let's have a quick listen. The Jim Dandy is explicitly designed to replicate that boxy, punchy, mid-range heavy tone of the cheap mail-order catalogue guitars from the 1930s and the 1940s. I'm thinking like the old, is it Sears catalogue? That would what it would be, I think, if I've done my internet forums right. Anyway, it features a compact Parlor-sized laminated Sapele body, a smaller 24-inch short scale length, a NATO wood neck, and a walnut fingerboard. And that is 18 frets on there, but you can only get 12 up to the body before it starts, start doing that and reaching over. Up until now, this model was only available in traditional sunbursts and darker finishes, but this new limited edition vintage white paired with that tortoiseshell pickguard gives it, well, I dig it. I love white guitars, and I think this is an incredibly cool, slightly elevated retro vibe. It is a bit more expensive than the regular sunburst models and such, but still stays at under 250 notes. And if you want an affordable guitar that fills a room, look elsewhere. But if you want something special from Gretsch that practically begs you to play Delta blues and riffs on it all afternoon, until it's time to, I don't know, what jobs do people do in the 30s and 40s? Let me know. Yeah, you can get this Gretsch. The gasometer for this is at a resounding buy it now. Staying in the acoustic realm for a moment, but adding some serious volume, we have a solution for those of you who actually leave the house to go and play guitar. If you drag your acoustic down to the local pub or coffee shop or wherever, you already know the struggle. You're either bringing a PA system, or you might have had the absolute luxury of wrestling with the venue's absolutely terrible, blown out PA system. Well, the newly revived Hughes and Kettner just dropped a tiny 60-watt solution to fix both of those problems. This is the brand new Hughes and Kettner Era C. Now, at first glance, it looks a bit like a high-end studio monitor, because it is tiny. But this tiny little 6.2 kilo cube is actually a fully featured grab-and-go PA system disguised as an acoustic combo. It features 4 independent channels. Almost. Kind of. Let's see what you think. Channels 1 and 2 give you identical XLR/jack combo inputs with switchable phantom power for condenser mics if you're posh, meaning that you can plug in 2 guitars or 2 singers or 1 of each. And both of those main channels feature independent 3-band EQs, a built-in effects engine loaded with 8 available reverbs and delays, and an adjustable notch filter to instantly kill that dreaded acoustic feedback. The acoustic feedback that always seems to happen just as you're placing your capo on the 2nd fret and pleasing everybody. Channel 3 handles your auxiliary and Bluetooth streaming so that you can run backing tracks straight from your phone or play some music in the break to promote your latest release. And Channel 4 is a dedicated stereo effects return, which I think you could also use as plugging in some sort of synth or something. It doesn't say you have to plug effects in there, but that's what it's supposed to be for. There's also a built-in kickstand to angle the sound up at your head. Reminds me of Katana 1, Generation 1 days. And or you could mount it directly on a standard 32mm speaker pole to project to the whole room. In fact, let's have a listen. Now, I must say, I am quite surprised by the release of this amp. If you didn't know, Hughes and Kettner were struggling to stay in business in the last few years and were bought by German retailer Thomann. And as far as I know, this is the first post-Thomann buyout product to be released. And it feels a little odd to resurrect an amp company responsible for lots of high-gain sounds by releasing an acoustic amp. I know they've done acoustic amps before and they had the B one, but anyway, this doesn't really mean anything, it's just an observation, and it just feels a bit odd to me. I do really love or like. I love the way that H&K allow you the independent settings for channels 1 and 2 by having a little toggle switch that flips the same set of controls between the 2 channels. Saves space, gives you more functionality. That is neat. This comes in two finishes, the standard black, which keeps the price at under 400 notes, and if you want the classy wood finish, it's going to cost you an additional 100 notes. If you need a completely self-contained acoustic rig that won't permanently destroy your lower back, bit late for me, the gasometer is firmly at add to cart. PRS just dropped an affordable new signature guitar that is fairly unexpected, entirely weird, and going to put the cat among the pigeons. This is the PRS SE Ed Sheeran Hollow Body Piezo Baritone. Those are words that I didn't ever expect to hear together. Go on, right, here we go. Soapbox stood upon. Drop your comments about Ed Sheeran only using 4 chords and only needing 5 frets. Why not comment how PRS have lost the plot by teaming up with that ginger idiot? Then, once you've done that, go back to your basements and your boring jobs. I will have no patience for anyone attempting to bring down someone who's actually out there, a hard-working musician that is keeping guitar and songs alive in the mainstream world. That's not easy to do. Well done, Ed Sheeran. I'm not a huge Ed Sheeran fan. He looks like a nice bloke, I think, and some of his songs are phenomenal. I've played them at weddings and people love them. I've got only good things to say about Ed. Hi, Ed. There's no way he's watching this. He's off actually doing the thing that we talk about. Anyway, when I think of Ed Sheeran, I usually think of tiny travel-sized acoustic guitars and loop pedals and earning a lot of money. I don't generally think of massive, low-tuned, behemoth, hollow body electrics, but he has apparently been using a private stock version of this exact guitar on his recent stadium tours, and PRS has now brought it down for us mere mortals to the accessible SE line. It features, yeah, can we talk about the guitar please, Andy? Yeah, stop blathering on. Right, the guitar. It features a 27.7-inch baritone scale length that's strung up with some heavy gauge PRS strings to handle those low A or B standard tunings. The body is a true fully hollow construction with a maple top and a mahogany flat back. For the magnetic side, it's loaded with a pair of PRS 8515S humbuckers, because it's an SE model, but the fairly surprising feature here is the LR Baggs PRS piezo system built right into the bridge. Piezo or piezo? I don't know what that number says up there. Whatever that number says, we'll go with that. I think it's piezo. It has dual output jacks, meaning that you can run the magnetic humbuckers into your dirty tube amp, and then run the acoustic piezo pickup completely separately into a PA, or to that Hughes and Kettner Era C that we just talked about. Or, if you only want to use one cable, you can blend the two sounds together, directly, on board the guitar to create a massive thick wall of sound. That's going to combine that acoustic string tone and the attack with electric sustain. That's a new, if I make another band at some point, I'm going to call it Electric Sustain. Or that might be my name if I was a hairdresser. It comes in 3 finishes. 3 exclusive finishes, I should say. Kaleidoscope, Pink Ombre, and Orange Tiger Smokeburst. Orange Tiger Smokeburst is the best name, but Kaleido one is the best looking one in my opinion. Now I played the limited edition version of this at NAMM this year, and I have one of these 3, whatever color it's going to be, on the way to this studio from PRS for a review. And I really hope that it's the Kaleidoscope one. I think it looks absolutely stunning. It excites me. Of course it excites me, it's a guitar. But it excites me more than the others. The PRS SE Ed Sheeran Hollow Body Piezo Baritone is coming in between 1,400 and 1,700 notes, depending on where you are. And to find out what the price is for you, QR code over there, you see? And link in the video description. That is, regardless of what that number is, a significant amount of money for a rather polarizing signature model. But I think that this bold move could pay off for both Ed Sheeran and PRS because it's bold. Fortune favors the bold, as they say. I dig this guitar, and the gasometer ticks up to another buy it now.
Andy's Pick of the Week.
Yes, my pick of the week. If you're the kind of player who looks at a standard 3 pickup guitar and says, yeah, that's great, but what if we crammed in another entirely different pickup right there? Then you are going to absolutely lose your mind over this. Bilt Guitars has an incredible reputation for their custom offset models, but for their latest drop, they teamed up with Josh Scott from JHS Pedals to recreate this absolute monster of a custom boutique guitar. This is the Bilt JHS Relevator, not Revelator. At its core, this is a retro-modern offset a la Fender Marauder, Fender Jaguar, and Fender Jazzmaster. It is finished in high gloss white. Ooh. This guitar is loaded with a highly unconventional 4 pickup configuration. Let's talk about it. You get a Firebird humbucker in both the neck and bridge positions, a Jaguar pickup jammed into the middle bridge slot, and then a classic lipstick pickup in the middle neck position. To control all of this madness, it features an intricate array of specialized electronics, but is still not too complicated, I think. You get a standard 3-position blade switch, but then you also have dual red sliders to bring in those middle pickups in and out of the circuit. And then there's a dedicated white slider that acts as an instant kill switch for the stuttering effects, and also useful if you want to turn your guitar off if you're demoing pedals. It also features a classic Adjustomatic roller bridge paired with a Jazzmaster style vibrato for those subtle shoegaze shimmers. Let's talk woods. The body is older and the neck is hard maple. Not soft maple, not medium maple, but hard maple with a rosewood fingerboard. Now, I've seen Josh play his Relevator many times in his videos, which up until today, I have been reading it as the Revelator. And I don't think I'm alone, but it is the Relevator. I love the color scheme on this. It is my favorite colors in a slightly different ratio than I normally prefer them, but I dig white guitars and everything about this I love. In fact, it's so beautiful, it deserves a full screen 5 seconds.
It's so beautiful, it deserves a full screen 5 seconds.
This is such a tone tinkerer's guitar as well. I love the pickup choices, I love the switches, I love the oversized Starcaster-y sort of headstock, and I would love to own one, but it doesn't quite push me to get it. Not quite, which is good, because yeah, it's good for me, but you should if you like it. It is a fun guitar that strays very far from let's say, a Fender guitar, so it should be safe. It's definitely not vanilla. But the absolute best part is that Bilt partnered with World Musical Instrument Co. in Korea, which is, I think, where they also build PRS SE guitars. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. And they're going to manufacture this model over there in Korea, meaning that you get all this boutique level insanity at a much more accessible price point than if you were to get it from the custom US build. And when I looked it up, it lands right at under 1,400 notes. QR code, I hope. For an absolute dream tier offset that gives you a crazy amount of tonal combinations right on the pick guard, this is easily my pick of the week. I saw it and went, well, that's going in this pick of the week. What else is coming out this week? It doesn't matter, because that's going number 1. Anyway, the gasometer is wallet on fire. Love it. One last time, here is the QR code to scan, and there are links in the video description, so please give that a go. Let me know which one works for you, and also which price pops up for you, and if you want to, where you're from. Gives us an indicator of world economics. Let's entertain and educate each other. A massive thank you to you for watching and subscribing if you do. If you don't, what are you playing at? But as always, a special thanks to the Patreon supporters scrolling past my face right now. Hello there. Also, a huge hello there! And thank you to the YouTube members on screen scrolling past my face. It is a pleasure to have you all as part of the show. If you want to join them, I dare you, do it. And now a special shout out to the top tier members. Here we go. Andy Needs a Purple Marshall, use his affiliate links. Antonio Cruz Barreto. Buddha Blue. Boom Shakalaka. Buzzle. Chris Kelly. Craig's Fist. Darth Bagel. David Meyer. Dirk. Doug Paget. Fuzz Onkel. Jindrik Strelka, Johnny McBadminton, Mike CQB241, hope that's his pin code, Mike Lute, Andrew Morgan, Craig VB, Darius Lives, Gary O'Neill, Josh Tamberg, Man, Dude, Bro, Fat Raptor, PQ Deads, Sarang Narayan, Sanya Chen, Sarah Marie, Southern Panda 33, Twig is inconceivable, brilliant, good showman. Whew, you made it. Include the word barnacle in your comment and let the world know that you watched until the end. I will see you next time. Have a great week. Bye-bye.